I have a confession to make. Our house is a mess. My wife and I work extremely hard to involve our kids in cleaning up, but got to admit, it's a challenge. They seem to think that their job is limited to consuming vast amounts of food, playing Fortnite with their friends, and sleeping. And I'm only half joking. Just like my kids don't grasp the fact that they are responsible for helping keep the house clean, so there are folks in your construction company that may be unaware or misunderstand their responsibilities, specifically in the area of business development and sales. This is Eric Anderton, and you're listening to Construction Genius, a leadership masterclass. Thomas Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. If you're a construction leader, you know all about the perspiration, and this show is all about the 1% inspiration that you can add to your hard work to help you to improve your leadership. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss 5 distinct groups within your company who are responsible for business development and sales to one extent or another, and some simple ways that they can improve their performance of those duties. So let's think about each one of those 5 areas. And I'm going to name them off first, and then we'll dive into some detail on each one. The first group is the enthusiasts. The second group are the number crunchers, and I'll explain what I mean by each one. The third group are your change agents. The fourth group are the frontliners, and the fifth group, the heavy hitters. So let's begin by thinking about the enthusiasts. And who are the enthusiasts? These are your business development people. These are people perhaps who didn't start in the construction industry. They may have come from a different industry, but they're typically not born and bred construction folks. And they are super enthusiastic about going out there and finding opportunities. They're supposed to have their finger on the pulse of the communities that you build in, making sure that they're getting to know people. They're representing the company to existing clients and to new clients. They've always got their heads up, looking around for new opportunities. So how can you utilize these enthusiastic business development people? Well, make sure that they're staying in front of key clients. And one of the things that you can do with those folks is free up your planners to plan and your builders to build by giving the business development people responsibility for cultivating long-term relationships with your key clients. It's okay for one of your key clients to have multiple touch points within your organization, and having a business development person stay in touch, keeping up to date on birthdays and anniversaries and things like that. It can really help to cultivate those long-term relationships. Another way you can use a business development person is in the local organizations. Let's say the Association of General Contractors chapter in your area. In our area here in Sacramento, we have a great organization, the Sacramento Regional Builders Exchange. And so perhaps you can get your business development people involved in various boards there or committees so that they get deep into the community and get to know folks while serving in a non-sales capacity. But you see, the thing about these enthusiastic people is they do have some weaknesses. Because they're in business development, everything many times seems like an opportunity. And because many of them lack the technical chops that comes from being in the industry for a long time and having been a project manager or an estimator, they lack those technical chops, and they're not able to necessarily discern what a true opportunity is and what an opportunity is that you might want to avoid. And also, another thing about these enthusiasts is their enthusiasm sometimes is irritating to people internally. You see, business development people, and this is key to understand, have 2 sales to make when they're developing relationships. They not only have to sell the potential client on working with you, but they have to be able to bring that project internally and sell the team on allocating resources from a bidding perspective and then future resources from a planning and a building perspective to that project. And sometimes those business development people, they think that just because they've unearthed an opportunity, all the PMs and the estimators and everyone else are just going to stand up and applaud for them and say, yeah, let's go build it. And so they need to learn to also sell internally as well as externally. So how can you help them to overcome the weaknesses and the challenges that they have as enthusiasts? Well, make sure that your business development people have a clear understanding of your niche. They clearly understand the market verticals that you're going after, the types of projects that you want to build, and the types of clients that you want to do work with. They need clarity. Another thing you can do for those folks is give them an education in the construction business. A practical way to do that is have them do ride-alongs with project managers to go to the job sites and see what a job site is like and check it out, spend some time with the guys and the gals in the field to try and get a feel of the construction industry. And then also help them when they have a new opportunity that they're bringing to the team, sit down with them and give them some direction on who they need to sell internally in order to be able to fire up the company for taking on the opportunity that they are presenting to them. Now, we've talked about the enthusiasts. Let's talk now about the number crunchers. This is the second group of people who are responsible for business development, and these are your estimators. And when I think of estimators, many times I get this vision of 2 or 3 screens. They've got their plans on one screen, their Excel spreadsheet on the other, and they're looking at the plans and they're plugging in numbers and they're grinding, getting that bid out before it's due. And they're good at accurately bidding work. They have insight into value engineering opportunities that may be able to set you apart from your competition. And because they have this insight and this accuracy, they're able to build credibility with clients. Their challenge is many times getting out from behind the desk and going out and selling the number to the potential client. I know many estimators whose mindset often is, I've got the number out, and now I'm going to move on to my next estimate. And I want to say that is a mistake. One of my clients is an expert at working with his estimators, really emphasizing to them that they not only have to get the number out, but then they need to follow up. And they need to follow up via the phone and in person. And in person is extremely powerful. And I know that many estimators, they're like I was saying, those number crunchers, and they're not necessarily super comfortable with the follow-up aspects. And that's why they need your help. They need you to communicate to them the sales mindset, to get out there and sell their estimate to the client. So make sure that they're getting out and seeing people, following up. Now, the third group of people, these are the change agents. In other words, your project managers. So we've talked about your business development people. We've talked about your estimators. Now we're talking about your project managers. And you may be surprised to know this, but many project managers would kind of look at you funny if you told them that they were responsible for business development and sales. But they absolutely are, because think about it for a moment. Is it easier to sell a new client or to sell an existing client? Construction is extremely challenging, building a project safely and profitably with high quality. But that challenge presents to you an opportunity to really deliver a killer product and service to your clients. And if you're able to do that, solving their problems and adding value, then you can develop these deep, long-term relationships which enable you to get repeat business. And we all know that repeat business is much easier to get than going out and hunting down a new client every time you need a job. And so when you're talking to your project managers and when you're working with them in terms of business development, I think about them as change agents, because what they're selling many times to the clients are the legitimate change orders that come up as you're building a project. So with that in mind, one of the key business development sales skills that a project manager must develop is a real sense of customer service. If you serve your customers and take care of them, they will buy from you again and again. It's a fundamental activity of business development and sales to serve your customers. And I like to think of it in this way. When an issue comes up on a job, it creates pain and discomfort for everyone involved, including the project manager. The only question you have to ask your PMs is how much pain do they want? If they allow time to pass, the pain will increase. But if they address the issues quickly and provide excellent customer service with clear documentation to the client, it can really help to reduce the pain, deal with the issues, and cement the relationship with the client. And haven't you found that to be interesting, that many times the way you actually build and strengthen a relationship with a client is after you've made some kind of mistake and you fix the mistake, and as a result of that, the funny thing is you actually increase the level of confidence the client has in you because of your ability to fix the mistake. So in terms of that customer service, you've got to work with your project managers to make sure that they not only deal with issues quickly, but they don't air dirty laundry. Make sure that your PMs are keeping in-house any of the challenges that you may be facing and not sharing those with the clients unnecessarily. The client does not need to know how the sausage is made. The client just needs a nice sausage, right? A nice dish at the end of the day. So make sure that they are emphasizing customer service and that their communication is timely and consistent and clear. Communication is one way to solidify that relationship with your clients, and it is a business development activity. And then make sure that they are learning how to negotiate. How to negotiate those change orders. Make sure they're very good singles and doubles hitters. They don't have to get a home run on every change order. Make sure that they are giving to get in order to build relationships over time. Don't allow them to major in the minor, trying to get paid for every change that comes up. Have them track and document the changes, and then regularly communicate those to the client so they build a sense of obligation to reciprocate the extra uncharged work by agreeing to the change orders that you do pursue. So make sure that they're diligent in tracking the changes that occur and the extra work that you do, but work with them so that they understand which change orders you want them to go after and get paid for, and which ones you just want to let the client know that we've done this extra work so that you are building that relationship. Okay, so we've talked about the enthusiasts, the number crunchers, and the change agents. And now we're going to move on to the front liners, the folks in the field, your superintendents, your foremen, even your operators and your guys and gals in the crews. The field is where your money gets made. The field is the front lines of every profitable construction company, and their job is to sell the next project you build. And what are they selling again? They're selling that customer service experience of working with you. When your field crews show up with competency, emphasizing quality and safety and an ability to take the initiative to solve problems and deliver on schedule commitments, they really display a sense of competency that engenders confidence in the people that you're doing business with. And really, as much as possible, your construction company should be easy to work with. So let me give you an example again of what I mean by this. Let's say you and your closest competitor are bidding on a project. And the client who you're bidding to, let's say you're a general contractor and you're bidding to a client, he's worked with both of you before, and your numbers are close enough, so it's kind of a toss-up in terms of who's going to get awarded the project. So to help make the decision, the client decides to ask their construction manager how you performed on the last project that you built for them. And the feedback that they receive is that your field team was a pain in the neck to work with. They communicated poorly, they fought with other project partners, and they generally underperformed. In other words, because of poor customer service, your field personnel failed to sell the client on building future work with you and your company. And so your client decides to go with the competition for the next project. Don't let this happen. You know this is a scenario that's happened before. So teach your folks in the field that in the race to get a project built and get on to the next one, they must never forget that they are selling your company by the quality of the service that they provide your clients. Now, there's one final group of people who are responsible for business development in your construction company. These are the heavy hitters, the senior executive team. If you own a construction company or if you're a senior leader in a construction company, you're one of the heavy hitters. And the challenge that your senior executive team has is balancing their high-level responsibilities in the business with the necessity of getting out and developing future work. Kings talk to kings. You know those clients who want to look you in the eye as the senior executive or the CEO or the president. They want to look you in the eye and do business with you. So your senior leaders must commit to building long-term relationships with existing and potential clients so that you can ensure the sales success of your company in boom times and when the economic cycle begins to dip. And let me just say this, everyone at the moment is doing pretty well, but don't let that breed a complacency in you. The next downturn will come eventually, and you want to be the person who has developed those deep relationships with your clients, who's delivered on project promises to your clients so that when the economy does go down, they look to you to help them solve problems and to build projects, even though the volume may not be as great as it is currently. So one way to approach this challenge of how to use your executive team in business development is to divide up your top 10 to 20 target clients between the senior executives and hold them accountable for regular relationship building activity with those companies. So all your folks need to understand, whether they're in business development, estimating, project management, the field, or at the executive level, that they're all responsible for business development and sales. So let me just go back to my house real quick. My kids are slowly beginning to grasp the fact that they're responsible for pitching in to keep the house clean. Now, my wife and I, we need to show them how to do it, remind them of their responsibilities, and consistently hold them accountable. And so we're working hard at that. So here's how you can use the information that I shared on the podcast today. Number one, with your business development people, identify and communicate to them the clients and project types you'd like them to pursue. And if you're unclear on what your niche is, I'm going to include a link in the show notes to a spreadsheet tool that I've developed to help you to gain clarity on your niche. So you can just click the link in the show notes and get that free download. Second thing you can do for your estimators, develop a sales process for them so they understand step by step what they need to do, not only when they're putting a number together, but after they've sent the bid out to your client, how they should be following up. Give them a step-by-step process for follow-up and hold them accountable for that. In terms of your PMs, set the parameters of change order management with them. And perhaps you could send them to a course in negotiation that they could attend to help them to get comfortable negotiating some of those larger change orders with your clients so that you guys can maximize your profitability. Number 4 is you can meet with your superintendents and your foreman and have them do some creative thinking around this question. In what specific ways can we win the next project by providing excellent customer service on our current project? Do what you can to shore up customer service and customer relationships, because as you're doing that, like I mentioned earlier, you are in effect building the confidence and the trust and selling the next project. And then finally, commit as an executive team to spend a minimum of 1 to 2 days a month in client-facing activities. If you're the owner or a senior executive in a construction company of $15 million a year plus, and you're unclear or you're struggling to implement any of these business development type actions and activities, I may be able to help you identify and overcome some of those obstacles to your business development and sales success. Get in touch with me via my website. It's ericanderton.com. There's a contact me form in there. Fill in your details. I promise to respond within 24 hours, and we can have a discussion about how I may be able to help you. Really appreciate you listening to the show today. My name again is Eric Anderton. Feel free to give us a review wherever you get your podcast. Share this show with other folks. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Feel free to give me some feedback. What did you think about this show? Was it helpful? Would you like me to do more topics around business development? It's currently a focus of my business and my work with my clients. And if you'd like me to do some more deeper dives into strategy around business development, let me know. My name again, Eric Anderton, and thank you for listening to Construction Genius. This is Eric Anderton, and you're listening to Construction Genius, a leadership masterclass. Thomas Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. If you're a construction leader, you know all about the perspiration, and this show is all about the 1% inspiration that you can add to your hard work to help you to improve your leadership.